Arm yourselves, America. This is Defenders Live on Mojo 50 Radio. You can find us on pretty much anywhere that you can find the radio station. iHeartRadio is the best choice if you want to listen to us. If you want to watch us, we are on Facebook.com/Mojo 50 Radio. You can also find us on the Defenders page, which is Facebook.com/DOAE Show. And check out our website, DOAEshow.com. DOAE. That's Defenders of American Exceptionalism Show.com. Check out everything that's going on there. You have the feeds that we have up and going. We also have a shop there. You can find wonderful swag like the shirts that I have, the coffee cups and mugs that we've got going on, bags and everything else. You can get them right over there, over at DOAEshow.com. And I'll tell you what, man, it is great, wonderful days. Hey, before we get started, actually, have you guys heard this?
Excuse me, sir. There's a young man in here.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
If you've heard that, excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am from a manly man thing that kind of looks like a WWE wrestler. Then you know exactly where I'm going with this. Ma'am! Super Ma'am is a rapper. Super Ma'am is a rapper. You see, the revelation came out earlier today. Brandon Morris covered a little bit about Super Ma'am. Super Ma'am came out as a rapper for it, and has been for the past couple years. Apparently, while he was still being he. His rapper's name was Paycheck Stubbs. That's right, Paycheck Stubbs with a Z, 2 B's and a Z. But apparently, in light of the new information, in light of all the newfound things that's going on with It's Ma'am, the once Paycheck Stubbs has decided to change its name. It's now being called Sarah. Serotonin. If you don't know about this and you haven't actually seen anything that's going on, I actually posted it on the MeWe chat room earlier today. I found it because I was listening to Brandon, because I wanted to hear what was going on with the other young man that's on the radio shows with us. And they were talking about it, and I just had to find it. He was looking for it, looking for all the songs, looking for everything else. He was looking for all the rest of the stuff. I found it. I found Paycheck Stubbs, and I found Serotonin. No. It's not Sarah with an H. There is no H in the Sarah, and tonin is all caps and squished up right next to it. So it looks like this. Serotonin. That's it. Serotonin. Still sounds like a man, like a WWE wrestler, but has a name of some weird chick lady thing. Yeah, because that's the way you roll when you're Paycheck Stubbs, a.k.a. Serotonin, a.k.a. Super Ma'am. Hey, everybody. It's a good evening, isn't it? It is a great evening. Oh, I had to share that with you before I got started because it was on the feed. Everything was going on. Everything was right in the place. And it was hilarious. I couldn't not share it with you all. Oh, wonderful days, wonderful days. In other news, prominent LGBT activist and Democrat donor has been charged in a teen sexual abuse case. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just on the right, it is also on the left, and it's not just back and forth. They go both ways, and this one just happens to be on the left. Again, prominent LGBT activist, Democrat donor, and strong supporter of Barack Obama, Mr. Terry Bean. Let that name sink in for just a second. Was indicated earlier this month in two counts of sodomy and 1 count of sexual abuse against a teenage boy. According to Fox News, the Human Rights Campaign co-founder. Human Rights Campaign co-founder pleaded not guilty on Thursday after being arraigned for the charges and was taken into custody in Lake County Jail in Oregon. What's up with the left? Left Coast, Oregon. What is going on? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Why are you flipping nuts? The indictment was made on January 4th, but was not made public until yesterday. I wonder why. Bean, a gay rights activist who donated almost $70,000 of his own money into former President Barack Obama's campaign. Wait a second. $70,000? That is well beyond the scope of campaign violation fines. He should be charged for that, too. Was charged with sexual abuse in 2014 in a case that was dismissed after alleged victim did not testify. Means that he was hushed. Prosecutors refiled the charges after this. Court's record stated, according to the Oregonian, the alleged victim is not named in this new indictment, but the dates are similar to the previous charges. So this is a brand new indictment, similar charges, similar things going on. Being a real estate developer and his former boyfriend, Kaya Lawson, allegedly had sex with a 15-year-old boy in Eugene, Oregon, hotel in September 2013. They allegedly used an app called Grindr. I'm sure people like Izzo have a Grindr account. To arrange the sexual encounter, Lawson was also charged, but his case was dismissed. You can also find, other wonderful people like Brad. Brad's on Grindr. I'm sure that's how they pass their pictures back and forth to each other. Brad and Izzo. I bring this story to you because, one, it popped up in my newsfeed, and two, it is another example. Hey, Carrie Ann. By the way, good to see you. Happy that you're catching the show. It is another example of how we can look at the timeline of everything that's going on. How we can see everything that happens between the politicians themselves, the donors of these politicians, the crooked nature and the foundations of what's going on beneath, under, around these people. And to say that they are not corrupt themselves, that they're not polluted by the crap that they swim in on a daily basis it's just strictly to say that we would be morons to believe it. We would be morons to believe that these people don't have something wrong with them, that they aren't hiding some crazy secret, that they don't have all these donors and back alley deals and everything else going on. Back alley deals. With their lives and everything else. And it boggles the mind the way that people look at them and look at these people and talk about what's going on, or think about what's going on in a way that, oh, they're just peaceful people. They're there for the little guy. Yeah, this one was there for the little guy. Loved 15-year-old boys. Not saying, let me word this correctly here. Some people have sexual attraction, have a sexual attraction to other to stuff that they can't control it, and yet they control their own actions, even though the sexual desire is there. Those people, they're fighting the good fight because they understand and they know what they're doing, what their thoughts are wrong, and they keep themselves from doing it. So, holding yourself accountable, knowing that what you're thinking is wrong, knowing that the actions that you were about to take are incorrect, are not good, are not moral, keeping yourself from that. Those people are okay. But these people, the people that act on these actions, the people that actually go through and they push through all the actions and they and it's marked and marred by years and years and years of them doing the wrong thing continually, again and again and again. And yet we still let them claim that they have some sort of moral high ground on who America is and who and what America should be. How are we that blind? We can't be that blind. We shouldn't be that blind. And if you aren't that blind, you should go to patriotmobile.com today. Go to patriotmobile.com or call them at 1-800-A-PATRIOT. That's 1-800-272-8746. One of the other things that defile our country is Planned Parenthood. If you sign up with anybody else, some of your money's going to Planned Parenthood, no matter what you do. But if you go to patriotmobile.com or you go to the phone number 1-800-A-PATRIOT, you can sign up for a plan that they have. It's not only affordable, but they also do things like they pay off your lines for up to $500 per line, $1,500 per account. They do that for you. Not only do they do that for you, but you know for a fact that every dollar that you spend, absolutely zero are going to causes that you don't want. Okay? What I mean by that is not only do they not fund anything that you don't want them to fund, but they also do fund things that you would want them to fund. They're connected to multiple conservative causes and things where you can say, I want the campaign fund that you're going to put into, I want that to go to this fund, because it's not coming out of your bill, it's coming out of their profits. When you pay, they decide we're going to use a little bit of our profits to pay a little bit into this charity based on what you want. We use our phones every single day. Why not set it up to make the change? Go to patriotmobile.com or call 1-800-A-PATRIOT. That's 1-800-272-8746. Let them know Steven over at Mojo sent you. I don't know if it'll get you anything, but let them know anyway. They'll put it in the notes. Just saying. In other good news, Israel has set up a good partnership in the Middle East for the regional gas market. You see, after the aftermath of the Iranian nuclear deal, there's been a bunch of good relations that have been forming recently. If you haven't heard about everything that's been going on, I know I've talked about it a little bit, but if you haven't really heard about what's happening and what's been going on, one of the best things that you can do is actually go to this news story. It's from thedailywire.com, but one of the biggest things that's been going on, because Iran is so crazy. Iran is so crazy, it has pushed Egypt, Jordan, and the Gulf states like Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and the UAE to all recognize Israel not only as a country, but to recognize that Israel is a force to be reckoned with. So they're joining in a partnership for the regional gas markets in the area of the Middle East. One of the downstream consequences of the change is post-Iran deal regional security landscape has increased the economic cooperation between Israel and the other regional actors. It's amazing to see. When you pinpoint one of the biggest problematic areas in a region, show how they're wrong, how the other people in the region suddenly react and they realize, oh crap, we can't be backing this type of activity. We can't be participants in this sort of activity. And I'm talking about, come on, Egypt? Egypt is where the Arab Spring happened. That's where it started. That's where it was going. And now they're joining with a country like Israel? All because Iran is so freaking nuts. It's awesome to see. And what this is going to mean is that not only are you going to see a rise in the status of Israel in the United Nations, but you're also going to see a rise in markets overall, market values overall. You're going to see that these countries overall, when they join in with Israel, as long as they don't try to stab them in the back, when they join in with Israel and they remove themselves from the frickin' nuts, crazy Islamicist nation that is Iran. They pull themselves away from that. They pull themselves away from all that mess. They're going to see profits and prosperity throughout all of it. And it's going to be great for them. It's going to be a wonderful thing for all in that region. In addition to Israel, Egypt, Italy, Cyprus, Greece, Jordan, the Palestinian Authority are all involved in this new effort. It's going to be called the Eastern Mediterranean Gas Forum. And that's awesome. This is just one more step. It's one more step in the right direction in the Middle East. And, you know, after everything that's happened in our time and everything that's gone on in this region based upon what's happened with our government and how our government has kind of made things worse or better depending upon what you're looking at, it's great to see that finally, not only is Israel being recognized as a powerhouse that it is, both economically and defensively, but they're actually being taken as a point for the market. Is this why? This might have been why Nancy was going to go to Egypt and everything else. It might have been why. Of course, she was saying it was a fact-finding mission, but it doesn't. She doesn't need to go. She didn't need to go to get a fact-finding. We have boots on the ground. All she had to do was make a call to the generals. All she had to do was talk to these people over the phone. That's right. Nancy was denied, along with every other person in the legislature. Nobody's going anywhere right now. Too bad. Can't have any military attaches. But apparently Pence did leave in lieu of everybody else. Pence did go because Pence is not necessary or vital for the conversations that are going to be had over the next couple days, over the weekend, and over the next couple weeks, probably, as long as they decide to hold out back and forth. Roz, if it was a working trip, why were there 96 family members going? I don't know why there would be 96 family members going. I didn't even know that fact. Is that true, Roz? Because that would be amazing if it was. Yeah, I know, right? Right, Wendy? Do your job. Do your job, Congress. Once you do your job, then we can start everything back up, and you can send everybody out that you want to. It's not a problem at all. Another thing that isn't a problem at all, Tar River Arms. See, with Tar River Arms, you go to traguns.com. Not only do you get some of the best 3D interactive experiences to view every aspect of the gun that you want to purchase, it's this close to being able to hold it in your hands. You can zoom in. You can see the smudges on the muzzle. You can see anything. If they haven't cleaned it off properly, you can see it. You want to know how I know? Because Kurt told me specifically. He took pictures. He put it on the website, and then he noticed that there were strings hanging off of one of his guns because they didn't clean it off right. Listen, it's great guns, great prices, great service, veteran-owned, veteran-run. They have a whole mess of stuff coming up in the next couple weeks with their new systems, layaway, consignment options. traguns.com. Use promo code Steven at Mojo50. Let them know that I sent you. That way they know what's going on. And by the way, if you haven't checked out what they have, you really, really need to. I'm looking at this. This is. Oh, that's pretty. Bushmaster ACR Enhanced Designated Marksman Rifle. It's a 6-hour Bravo battle sight with a 6-hour Bravo battle sight. It's originally $32.70. Right now, it's got one more in stock. If I had the cash, I would pay for it now. If they had the layaway option already, I would be buying it now for $25.99. It is a beauty. It is amazing and immaculate, but that's not all they have. They have pistols. They've got Class 3 firearms. They've got everything that you would need or want, and all at some of the best prices that you can find. traguns.com. Tell them Steven sent you over at Mojo50. So, speaking of gender equality, feminism, feminist toxicity, the toxicity of masculinity, men being men. Hey guys, if anybody's listening, we need to get Man Crates as a sponsor. Can we get Man Crates as a sponsor? I really want I'm going to send that to Tom. I'm sending man crates as a sponsor option. We have to have man crates. That would be perfect. Man crates would be amazing. But anyway, that's all beside the point. Men being men. What about women being women? What about the fact or the idea or the thought process that you have to have one and the other? What about the idea that there has to be masculinity and femininity? What about the thought process and the idea that one is not greater than the other in any way? Did you know that the masculine traits, the people that think that masculinity is all about bravado and anger and violence, those people don't actually understand what masculinity is. See, one of the key factors about masculinity is, yes, when you are put in a position that you are in the defense, when you are in defense of something, when you are forced to defend something that you desire, it rises up. The violent tendencies raise up in you. And that's okay. That's natural. That's normal. That is what it's supposed to be. But did you know, if you have something you love, one of the masculine features of the human trait is the protection, the shielding of that. Whether it be a person, a thing, all of that. To feminize our families, to feminize our men, to make them supermam is really the worst thing that we can do to our society. It makes it so women are going to be less attracted to men overall, which means that procreation is going to be down, and it already is down. We're already lost on that track. It makes it so men won't be men, telling men not to be masculine, not to be exclusive, not to be anything because, oh, masculinity is toxic. It's horrible. It's a terrible, no good, very bad thing. Is a terrible, no good, very bad thing. But what about femininity? What about the female? What about everything going on? Well, if you were to ask Debbie Wasserman Schultz what she feels about it is she loves the Women's March, but she has to pull herself away. She's got to pull herself away from the Women's March because of hate speech. That's right, everybody. Debbie What's-Her-Name Schultz has finally decided that because of the leadership of the Women's March, she has to, step away from the Women's March and from being a vocal supporter of the Women's March. Doesn't mean she's not going to support it. It just means she can't be associated with it anymore because she wants a place in political history over the next X amount of years. See, in a recent press release, she posted things like this. I walked away from the Women's March in Washington 2 years ago, absolutely electrified by the promise of what a movement built around sisterhood and solidarity could accomplish. Today, sadly, I must walk away from the National Women's March organization and specifically its leadership. While I still firmly believe in its values and missions, I cannot associate with the National March's leaders and principles, which refuse to completely repudiate anti-Semitism and all forms of bigotry. I cannot walk shoulder to shoulder with the leaders who lock arms with outspoken peddlers of hate. Good. So she's walking away from Linda Sarsour. Good. Anyway, folks, that music means we'll be right back. she's a Jew, and yeah, I know she's Jewish, and that's the thing. Like, we all knew she was Jewish. We all knew that was a thing, right? I didn't. She's Jewish, or well, she's from a Jewish family. I can't really say if she's Jewish or not, but she's from a Jewish family, from Jewish heritage, and she's associated with people like Linda Sarsour. Uh-oh, Dad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what's going on. Oh. No, I don't think she is going to repudiate Ilhan Omar or Rashida Tlaib, mainly because they're already representatives in the federal government, so she doesn't have to actually pull away from them. She just has to step away from the march. She has to step away from the whole idea that that's going on. By the way, shh, be very, very quiet. No, I'm just joking. If you want to call in, you can. You have to use Skype, though, at DO8U Show. You can Skype in. I might take it. I might not. Dad. Uh-oh. Who's mentioning me? Okay, it's just Mojo. That's good. Oh, boo. I'm joking, Wendy. I'm joking. I'll take his call. Gosh. I got to be mean to my dad every now and again. What's going on? The difference between the sexes? Yeah, exactly. It's not an obstacle. They're complementary. Exactly. They are complementary. Oh, there he is. There he is, folks. There he is. Okay, shh. And we're back. You're listening to the Defenders Live. I'm Steven Airey, and apparently my dad decided to call in. Uh-oh, hold on. There he is.
What?
There you go.
Can
now
you
everybody
see
can see
him now?
him. Yep. Everybody can see you. It's Dad Airey. It's
There he
Dad
is.
Airey on the line. Yes, Dad? I assume you have something to say. Are you there? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. His video feed died. He'll have to call back. That happens. My dad has a very old computer. His video feed died. So, Dad, if you still hear me, you can call back. That's okay. Oh, goodness. Just don't use the video feed. That'll work it out. It's Dad Airey. It's crazy. Oh, speaking of crazy dads, Jordan Peterson. If you guys have heard about him and about everything that's going on, Jordan Peterson did an entire thing about the Scandinavian paradox, citing the whole idea of taking stark gender differences in the progressive Nordic countries, despite their commitment to equality, going through the entire situation there. Basically, oh, there he is again. Crap. I really shouldn't have handed out my number. I really shouldn't have handed out my Skype handle to my dad. I'm just saying, shouldn't have handed it out. Are you
Really?
there? Are you there?
Real?
Are you there?
I'm here.
Bueller?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. All right, you have something to say, I'm sure.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, of
Now?
course. Yes, we can.
Oh, I just called in to listen a little bit.
You called in to listen.
I hunting rabbits.
Oh, my.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That's right.
So you called in just to listen. All right, fine. Well, I'm going to keep on with the show.
Well, you know, I'm old. We used to sit around the house and watch the radio when I was a kid.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the best things you could have done as a kid is because you watched the radio instead of listen to it. Is that what you did?
That way.
Oh, well, before we keep going, I'm going to let you guys know about a little thing that I like to call rightongames.com. The reason why I call it rightongames.com is because it is rightongames.com. So you go there, use the promo code MOJO50 for a discount of 10% off. The reason why? Because mocking the left just feels so right. See, this game comes with its own little trigger warning. It says microaggressions are contained in the box. If you're a millennial snowflake, you will be offended by its content, so please retreat to your safe space because it's highly recommended. It has wonderful things like wussification of America, campus coddling, feminism follies, rainbow games, millennial entitlement, and so much more. Go to rightongames.com. You get to play the game right on because it's amazing. And why wouldn't you do that? So go to rightongames.com, use the promo code MOJO50 and get 10% off. Yes, Wendy, now you know where I come from, or at least the stock that I come from. It is a wonderful time there. Yes.
Beef stock makes beefcake.
Makes beefcake. Oh gosh, I don't want to
Beef
know.
stock.
I don't want to know around. I don't want to know that. Come on, don't talk about it like that.
I was just telling Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
You said this the stock you come from.
Exactly. Well, that's what it is. Just the stock that I have.
Beef stock.
Mm-hmm. And that's because I'm allergic to chicken. Oh.
I would be.
I know, right? So one of the biggest things about the folly that happened with the Scandinavian countries is they've done a little bit of science now. They've looked through the Scandinavian countries. They've gone through all of the hiring profiles and all of the situations that have been going on. And even though they have touted their own equality about gender equalities and everything else, guess what? It's not equal. It's not at all equal. It's nowhere close to being equal. And by that, I mean it is literally completely unequal. The reason why is, well, because even if the female in the process happens to have a higher education and everything else, she normally settles herself for either a slightly less demanding job because she doesn't get paid anymore than the job itself, or the man who doesn't have to worry about things like, I don't know, staying at home most of the time or anything else, child rearing and things like that, usually go longer hours at work, even if they are less educated, or if they're in the bottom rung of the education level and they're doing lower paying work, they're still working harder overall. So even though they're in the lower rungs, they're making more money overall. So what they found out is that if you're a man, you are in one of two classes in the Scandinavian countries. You are either low paid, high work, or high paid, high work. And if you're of the female variety of our human species, normally you're about, I don't know what you call it, middle of the road. That's right. You're middle of the road, and it's not because of anything else going on, except for the fact that you, as a person, have decided to work in that way. And that's it. That's all it is. It's nothing other than that. They've decided to work that way because in their Scandinavian countries, because they're taxed as much as they are, they do not want to work the extra hours. Simple as that. Does that make sense to everybody else? Because that makes really good sense to me. Anybody? Bueller? Vestibule? No? I don't know.
I got nothing.
You got nothing. See, you're on the line and you still got nothing. What's going on?
It's not the same as talking to the radio, you know?
I know, it really isn't the same as talking to the radio. So, so with that going on, with what's been happening and everything else, everybody's talking about equality, equal rights, the pay gap and everything, all of that stupid mess that everybody knows is really not there, because if you actually factor in life choices, it's pennies on the penny, the difference between the pay gap. It's pennies on the penny. That is it. That is the only thing, that is the real difference between everything, if you factor in all of the other life choices. If you don't, then it's your fault that you don't. But don't force all of us, don't force the rest of us to try and believe what you think is going on. Rocky, what did you say? Women will always be paid less because we work less hours than men do. You said it, not me. You said it, not me. Speaking of people getting paid less, Ron DeSantis, Rocky, that's down in your area, your neck of the woods. Ron DeSantis has continued to clean house in the houses in Florida, especially over the election systems that they have going on there. Apparently, Ron DeSantis has gone and done it. In just over a month of him being elected, he's done more than Rick Scott has done had done in 8 years. Getting rid of Brenda Snipes, who has been suspended as election director of Broward County, and now going and pulling Susan Butcher out of office as well. He has a statement I want you guys to hear and listen to. Hold on, let me pull it up here for you. There you go. Boom. Let's see if this goes.
Obviously, Palm Beach County was the focus of a lot of problems in the aftermath of the election. And on January 17th, Secretary Ertel wrote me a letter outlining the failures that happened in Palm Beach County under the leadership of Supervisor Susan Booker, and he recommended that I take the action to suspend her from office in order to right the ship here and make sure we have good elections. And I think it is true that throughout the voting process and the days after November 6, 2018, the elections office in Palm Beach County demonstrated on a national stage that they simply could not comply with the laws of the state and that Supervisor Booker could not discharge the duties that she was supposed to discharge. And if you look at some of the problems, on November 6th and days after, the Palm Beach County office failed to report the number of ballots canvassed as required by Florida law and what other counties were able to do, including, I might add, Bay County, which a month before had been hit with a Category 5 hurricane. The office violated...
That's actually a pretty big thing if you think about that. I mean, okay, an entire county hit by a massive hurricane. They were able to get all of their numbers in months before one county decided that they were going to get their numbers in. How does that even make sense? Does that make any sense? They were able to get their numbers in without any problem? I don't think so.
Florida law by failing to submit improperly completed ballots to the canvassing board. Supervisor Booker also violated Florida law regarding voter intent determinations and regarding filling out duplicate ballots. And Palm Beach County did not complete the state-mandated recount until 50 days after the election. So an election that happened the week after Halloween, you ended up not having the recount done until after Christmas. No, Palm Beach County stands alone in that level of ineptitude. They've truly been the keystone cops of elected administration. And so
Keystone cops of election administration. That's pretty funny, I got to say. as far as that goes, that's actually pretty funny. I don't know. My dad's looking at me like something's wrong. What's wrong? What's wrong?
I can't see you.
You can't see me?
All I see is me.
Oh, well, that's your fault.
No, I didn't do anything wrong.
I can't mess with your Skype stuff. It's not me.
Well, I'm not messing with the Skype stuff.
Then what are you doing?
All I got is a little thing of you up in the corner, just a flag.
Well, that's all you got to see. That's all you need to see.
Is that what it is? Well, I can sit here and look at myself.
You can sit there and look at yourself. That's fine. You can see yourself in the mirror,
Are
too.
you looking at me, too?
Yeah, I am. Everybody else sees you right now.
Okay, I'm listening to you. You go on.
All right, fine. That's all that needs to happen.
There you go.
Yeah, Rocky, I hope DeSantis doesn't disappoint either. I really do. I hope he does exactly what he should do. I am completely and wholeheartedly happy for him that he was able to finally win the election that he did. And that's just the best thing going. That's the best thing going for him. And you know what? One of the better things that you guys can do as you go throughout your day, go to charitymagnets.com. If you go to charitymagnets.com, use a promo code MOJO, you get $5 off on any purchase. Plus, a little bit of the money that you spend also goes to a charity called the Cops for Kids with Cancer. You see, they've given over $2.5 million in donations for cancer research. Go to charitymagnets.com. You get some of the best produced and designed, most beautiful, high-quality products for law enforcement and law enforcement supporters and enthusiasts. CharityMagnets.com. Use a promo code MOJO. Get $5 off. So for some people down in the elections boards, down and especially in the Florida Panhandle, there are tons of things going on down there, but it seems like the end of the world for them. It really, really does. Seems like the end of the world for them. But if you go to the New Yorker, or New York Magazine, excuse me, go to New York Magazine, they have an article out there today. It's originally from January 6th, but I wanted to read this to you because it just popped up into my feed, and I thought this was pretty funny. 8 predictions for what the world will look like in 20 years. 8 predictions for what the world would look like in 20 years. See, in 20 years, Dahlia Lithwick of the Supreme Court will die off. So, Dahlia Lithwick, I don't know who this person is, but she says that the Supreme Court will die off. You see, in 2039, the Supreme Court will consist of 2 people, Elena Kagan and Neil Gorsuch. That's really not a very bright sight, because no one else will ever be confirmed again. And gradually, other justices will retire or die off. And that's just exactly what's going to happen. Other ones will die off and all that other jazz. So, Democrats are saying that they want the filibuster reestablished really soon, and they think that everybody has to come to realization that confirming people by 50 to 48 margins is not good for anyone. But that's just somebody's stupid opinion. You know what? If they didn't put in the nuclear option, that was a Democrat, by the way, who did that. If you guys don't remember, put in the nuclear option and said, you know what? We're just going to bomb this away. This wouldn't be a problem in the first place. Everything would still have to be a 60-vote rule. But because those wonderful Democrats wanted to sneak around and push their stuff through, they decided to go the nuclear option and put it into legislation. So now they have to live with the consequences of what they've done. That's just it. You have to live with the consequences of what you have wrought. So there's no such thing as a 60-point rule on pretty much anything anymore, unless it's constitutional or it has to be made law. So when you're trying to vote in somebody, you can just vote in people by majority standard. That's it. Majority standard is rule of the game now. Kate Julian, I don't know who that is either. There will be a lot less sex and a lot more masturbation. I don't know why this is a problem or why this is a case. I lost signal with my dad, so I had to pick him up on my phone. So he's actually on my phone, so you guys can't hear him anymore. But I see his face, and he's shaking his head, and it's hilarious. See, in the future, ebbing in romantic and sexual connections, it'll continue. People will have sex less, though. It's called old age. Less frequently than they did in pre-internet areas, which will be remembered as a more carnal time. You see, with the advancements in technology and with three-dimensional things and virtual reality and everything going on, and full body suits where you can feel everything that's going on, which by the way is coming. Eventually, one day down the line, this probably is a thing that's going to happen. I mean, have you not seen Demolition Man? Have you not seen Demolition Man? I mean, for real, that is a wonderful representation of what is actually going to happen. There will be a giant war of the food industry, and everything will be Taco Bell. And, anybody who wants to actually eat real food is going to live underground, and anybody who wants to trade fluid with another person is going to have to live underground, and it'll be the tranquil environment until somebody brings up this crazy psychopath that's going to destroy the world, and they have to revive another crazy psychopath that happens to be also a cop to kill him. Oh yeah, that was a good movie. Anyway, that's exactly. You know, if you don't know how to use the seashells, you better start learning, because if you don't, then you're gonna have to use the cuss wand or the cuss fines, and make sure that you can wipe with those. Oh man, how about this one from Zhao Mina? There will be an internet cold war. In the year 2039, the globe, what remains of it anyway, will be cut up into two halves. People in different countries will log in on substantially different internet governed by different laws and regulations, limited in different ways or animated by their own distinct cultures. Some sites will be unavailable in certain places. This is already the case, but will become much more dramatically so. So what you're saying is China will have its own internet like they already have, because China has the ability to do that, just like every other country has the ability to actually, if they wanted to, limit the internet usage in their country. It just happens to be that here in America, we don't really do that. Because we believe in freedom and freedom of speech and freedom of expression, and we don't believe that the government can use the internet as a utility or claim it as a utility, which is why net neutrality is such a stupid thing to do. Net neutrality is stupid, one, because it makes the internet a utility, and two, because it gives the government the internet. And we don't want that. We don't want that at all. Paul Ford says that everything will be a computer. Possibly. I mean, that kind of makes sense. Everything will be computers, computer processing, everything will be going through. And you know, before all of that happens, one of the best things that you guys can do once we get through this is to go to catcoolers.com. Go to catcoolers.com, use the promo code Steven in the promo, and you can get 10% off. Now, they've got awesome coolers, and they look just like toolboxes. It is amazing. They've got camo, black, yellow, just straight white coolers. They've got accessories for everything. Cat coolers, they're some of the most rugged things out there, and if you go and take a look at what they've got going on, it is amazing. Catcoolers.com. Promo code Steven, get 10% off. It's awesome. It is great stuff. You should go check it out. Here's another one. Let me see. The West will be an island in a vast sea of China power. This coming from Bruno Macias. Bruno Macias, apparently, saying that America will be the only thing not gobbled up by China. That may be true. It may be Russia. China, yeah, maybe. Okay, I could possibly see that. I don't see it in 20 years, maybe 100 years. Why does the cat coolers need a cooler? Because you got to have a cat cooler. I'm talking about Caterpillar, like the Caterpillar company. Yeah, those people. They have coolers now, and they're awesome. So go check them out because they're amazing. Let's see, 21st century American will have antebellum politics. See, American politics will return to the president of the 19th century. The 19th century, that's the 1800s for any of you out there that don't know the difference between 18th, 19th, 20th century. The 19th century. Partisan was extreme at that time, and media was very biased. This is already happening. You're not even predicting anything, you moron. Let me see. This is from Missy Cummings. Self-driving cars are not coming anytime soon, no matter what you've heard. So apparently she's doing an anti-prediction of 20 years from now. There won't be self-driving cars. There better be flying cars by then. If they're not self-driving, they better be flying. I want to be able to fly in my car. Geoff Mann and Joel Wainwright says that climate change will destroy the nation states but supercharge capitalism. Because climate change, folks, climate change will kill everything. Climate change is here. Climate change will kill everything. We're all going to die. We're all going to die. We're all going to die. So CNN has decided that they were going to do a little checking out of the Beto road trip. You know, the Robert Francis O'Rourke, that guy, the Frankie fan club, the Frankie bus trip. See, he's doing a road trip. And from CNN analysis, Beto's road trip, quote, drips with white male privilege. Uh-oh. 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 Robert Francis O'Rourke is white privileged male? I thought everybody loved him as the plucky, comical, you know, possibly Mexican guy, but is really Irish. Yes, CNN apparently turned on him in a brutal analysis from CNN titled Beto's Excellent Adventures Drip with White Male Supremacy. Senior political reporter Nia Malika Henderson, injects a heavy dose of intersectionality into Beto's conversations, and it doesn't go well for the failed senator candidate with a problematic driving record. Imagine this. A 46-year-old former congresswoman and mother of three who just lost a Senate bid to one of the most despised incumbents sets off on a road trip adventure to clear her head. Henderson began her searing piece. She Instagrams part of her trip to the dentist. She gives a 2-hour interview with the Washington Post where she shows no real knowledge about policy, kind of like AOC. Like the first-year college student, she pontificates on whether the Constitution is still a thing that matters after all these many years, like AOC. And then she writes a stream of consciousness diary entries where she is all in her sad and confused feelings over something like AOC, and then does a Instapot recipe. Henderson then quoted some recent blog entries from Beto, quote, have been stuck lately, in and out of a funk. My last days of work was January 2nd, and it's been more than 20 years since I was last not working. Anyway, she continues on and goes through this entire thing, and apparently Beto O'Rourke is no longer the Spanish man. Beto O'Rourke, which, by the way, if you're just going to get rid of his Spanish heritage, which he doesn't actually have in the first place, if you're going to get rid of his fake Spanish heritage, then go ahead and call him Francis. Call the man Francis. Or O'Rourke. Either way. Beto is no longer in the running. If CNN has already turned on him faster than they've turned on people like Nancy Pelosi and faster than they've turned on Elizabeth Warren, then this man is out of the race. He may have the biggest coffers in the political field over the next few years, but he's not sharing, and everybody hates that. Speaking of things that everybody hates, don't you just hate it when you go to the grocery store and you find something that you just want to stick up your hoo-ha and then suddenly the doctors tell you it's not a good idea? I mean, hasn't every woman felt that way? Doctors concerned over women inserting this grocery product in a rather uncomfortable place. Speaking of Hillary Clinton, doctors are concerned about women's health. They're criticizing a women's health magazine, Marie Claire, for suggesting that women who want their periods to come early insert something into their lady parts. Parsley. And that music could not come any sooner. Yes, you heard me right, folks. You heard me right. Rocky, did you do this story? Oh, go back and check it out, guys. That's Rocky over at the Bells of Liberty. They did this story. It's amazing. You got to check it out. It's on the Daily Wire as well. By the way, while you're here, go to Mojo 50. Go check out all the other shows, everything else. By the way, stay tuned. Stay tuned to Mojo 50 on iHeartRadio because Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom is next. He is next, right after me. Check him out. You'll enjoy it. Anyway, folks, it's been a great week. Gonna leave you on a produce story. It's terrible. Later.